planet is under attack. The defense line is collapsing.
They're hitting the planet.
Command's last answer. An unfinished warship, thrown into battle anyway. Connection initiated. Welcome, visitor.
Entry 254.17. Day 3, and Thebes deploys. By the third day, the battle for Toledo had become a knot of wreckage and will, cinched tight around the planet because there was nowhere left to fall back to. The nomads understood our weakness before most of us were willing to name it. They cut into it with terrifying precision. There was no fury in them, no hesitation, only purpose.
Nomad breach at E4.
Of the three of us, he always sounded the least human under pressure, simply exact. 3 warforms slipping through our fractured flank and diving toward the atmosphere in a perfect spearhead. Even before they fired, I knew what they intended. Then the bombardment began. Violet beams lanced downward through the cloud layer and into the surface below. Even from orbit, I saw plumes of boiling dust rise into the stratosphere, and fractures race across Toledo's frozen skin for miles at a time.
They're hitting the planet.
Fear was justified there. His voice shook, but he did not break. I wanted to say something to steady him. Something a commander ought to give a rookie on the day illusion finally dies. The battle gave me no such luxury.
This is Toledo Command. All wings. Titan planetary shield. No gaps. No stragglers.
The wideband nearly drowned itself in overlapping orders.
This is Battleship ISIS. Defense line is failing. Immediate reinforcement required.
Then command came through again, louder, closer to panic than discipline would normally allow.
Miner is under full-scale attack, requesting immediate reinforcement. Repeat, requesting immediate reinforcement. Omicron Mu, send what you can.
Rest cycles ended everywhere at once. Pilots, engineers, medics, deck crews, everyone still breathing returned to station. The commnet filled with the sound of a system trying not to die.
Jeb 2, venting atmosphere.
Hathor Squadron, intercept incoming wave.
Medical evac shuttles requesting immediate escort.
Toledo no longer sounded like a defended world. It sounded like a wounded body calling out from every nerve. Then hope entered the system.
Moose support incoming.
I heard something almost like relief under his precision. Wings began to pour in from a jump, whatever else Omicron Mu had managed to scrape together and throw toward us. Reinforcement not of readiness, but of necessity. And then another contact appeared on the display. Large.
New capital signature confirmed. Transponder reads Thebes.
Impossible. Thebes entered the defense sphere like a warship that had been denied the dignity of completion and had come anyway. Her outer armor was unfinished in entire sections. Shield stress rippled across exposed plating in uneven pulses. She should not have been there. She should have had weeks, months before she ever saw a hostile sky. Instead, Carthage had torn her free from the yards and hurled her into battle half-made.
Thebes readiness approximately 70%. Armor incomplete. Launch capacity active.
You're telling me they launched her like that? She's actually flying.
That's not flying, rookie. That's defiance.
For once, the swagger in his tone did not hide carelessness. It hid disbelief. There is a difference. I knew his masks well enough to hear it. Thebes began to take position near Toledo. Her flight decks, somehow already alive, began throwing fighters into the void at a frantic tempo. Half-armored batteries rotated toward the Nomad line and announced themselves with fire.
Peraspera ad astra.
Sir?
Through hardship to the stars.
Yeah, no kidding.
She did not arrive as salvation. She arrived as refusal. She was not the order at peace. She was the order bleeding, furious, and unwilling to kneel.
She's needed.
For a few precious moments, the effect was immediate. Pilots who had spent the last hours surviving began, briefly, to fight with intent again. But Thebes did not change the truth of the field. The line did not advance. It only held, barely.
Commander, Nomads approaching. Fast movers, closing on Thebes' outer screen.
Of course they were. The Nomads had seen what we had seen. Hope was a target, and Thebes had become the largest one in the system.
Well, if they want the new girl, they'll have to get through us first. Row 3 in position.
There it was again. What remained of Zeta 21 after 3 days of attrition, fear, and no sleep worth naming. Good men, all of them. Brave enough to run toward the brightest fire without hesitation. But bravery without discipline is how wings die.
Negative, Zeta 21. Do not chase the war forms. Other wings will protect Thebes. Battleship Isis is our anchor. We hold here.
Acknowledgements came at once. No speeches, no dramatics, just trust. By then, the third day had fully begun, and the sky above Toledo showed no mercy. But when Thebes took her place above the planet, the system remembered something the Nomads had not yet managed to kill.
Segment end. Ah, there it is. A half-built warship limps into a massacre, and suddenly everyone remembers how to stand up straighter. How very human. Cassius, however, was not seduced by the spectacle. He saw the symbol, understood its value, and still chose discipline over performance. I almost admire that. Tell me, visitor, who deserves more credit in this moment? The ship that inspired belief, or the commander intelligent enough not to be ruled by it? Leave your answer in the archive. Signal approval if you feel generous. Continued connection is naturally preferable. Session terminated.